All right, welcome back, everybody. Tuesday, November 12th, 2019. Going to talk hockey and NBA. And after we get through that, I see there's some college basketball games on the board that are worth taking a look at, too. So we will do that live. If you call in today, make sure it's a helpful call because I want to keep it moving. And I still got to finish the NFL Week 11 decode. I'm a little bit behind on that. So let's get into it. As per usual, we'll start off with some review. And let me get up the scores here. I know our basketball games came through yesterday. And there was a riddle in hockey between the two capital cities. They both lost. And the one that did lose, because we said there'd probably be at least one upset, the one we were favoring for the potential upset was the one that worked out. But again, that's the hockey page music. Again, Capitals and Senators were both playing yesterday, which was interesting since there was only two games in the league, and you can see they both lost. And we talked about how if the Capitals lost in overtime, they would be stuck on 30 points, or they'd pick up their 30th point, and Coyotes equals 30 in the most pure cipher. So that seemed like the more likely upset of the two. Again, the Hurricanes had a pretty good riddle to win. They became 7-3 at home. Carolina's 73. 73 is the 21st prime. They got their 21st point of the season, and that was the less competitive game. Hurricanes quite a bit better than the Senators, whereas the Coyotes and Capitals a little bit more evenly matched. But again, I think that's what's going on these days, which is two games. You got to figure out what the riddle is between the games that are scheduled. So wasn't as hard to spot because of the capital cities. Caller?
Yeah, I don't know if your stream's broke or not, or if it's just for me, but it keeps saying error, tap to retry, and like, well.
There's people in the live chat, so it should be working. Are you clicking on the link?
Yeah, the live chat was working, but it just keeps like giving. It says tap to retry, and then when you retry, it doesn't like load the live stream at all.
Wait, so
I don't know if it's just for me, but I was just letting you know.
Okay.
It could just be my phone being stupid.
So I just want to make sure. So you were able to get in there, but then it started glitching and giving you an error?
Like, it was normal at first, like your Gematria Sports banner comes up and it says it's like waiting for you to come. And then it was like as soon as you went live, it was like doing the loading thing like it normally does, but then it just says error, tap to retry. And then you tap it to retry, and then it just never loads it.
Okay, I see. Some people in the chat are saying it's working for them. Somebody else, Johnny wrote his stream broken, so I wonder.
Oh yeah, this is Johnny.
Oh, this is Johnny.
That's why I called.
Okay, it looks like for the.
It's just mine, man. I was just in case it was broke for everyone. I wanted to let you know.
Aaron D texted that streaming problems. I'm not sure though. I think sometimes. Yeah, I'm not sure about if Aaron D's a troll or not, but yeah, it looks like other people are all good. So yeah, sorry man. Try to reset it, but it should work. All right. Yeah. Thanks, Johnny. See you, man. All right. And by the way, just a heads up before we get into this, if anybody comes in here advertising the page for Jacon, just realize Jacon's a scammer. You know, a month ago, all the trolls were saying, support Jacon, he's homeless. And I've had a number of people reach out to me and say Jacon told him that if they gave him this money, he'd do this for him, and then he never did anything. So just beware, all of these trolls and people trying to scam this page, just steer clear. Nothing but a bunch of losers and liars and essentially criminals. So yeah. We'll leave it there and get back into it. Okay. So yesterday's hockey games, again, the theme was with the Capitals and Senators. They both went down. And again, on days where there's just two games, there's usually at least one upset. So ended up being the Capitals. And then in the NBA, there were three games that looked good, especially Boston. Boston was the best-looking game of all. But all three of the games that we liked yesterday came through. The Timberwolves and Pistons game, we did find out near the end of the Decode, there was a good call. Somebody pointed out that if the Timberwolves won yesterday, they were going to be 5-2 versus the East, like 52, that big Minnesota number. And that was the riddle that hit. And probably should have took that one, but the concern was that they could fall to 5-5, and Timberwolves is 55, but Minnesota and 52, that's usually the number. Celtics looked good yesterday, because now they have a chance to become 5-0 at home versus Washington. Washington 50, and the Mavericks fell to 4-1. Dallas is 41, and they play the Knicks next. Knicks is 41. So that seemed like the one-way street riddle yesterday. Celtics took care of business. Talked about how the Grizzlies had a chance to upset the Spurs yesterday. We've already seen a riddle with Memphis and 43 hit this year. Now another one hits. Memphis 43. The Spurs fell to 4-3 at home. And what I didn't know yesterday was they retired the jersey of Tony Parker. Again, that's one of those halftime ceremonies that leads to a loss. Somebody just called in, and when I accepted the call, it hung up. Sorry about that. If you want to call back in, you're more than welcome to. But Tony Parker's jersey retired yesterday. The Rockets look good to beat the Pelicans, and it was mostly about who they play next. The Rockets play at Minnesota next. Minnesota's 52 by the Rockets winning yesterday. It gives them a chance to get to 5-2 versus Minnesota. Also, the Pelicans fell to 2-8. Rockets equals 28 in the most pure cipher. So that was that. And then the Clippers looked good to beat the Raptors because Kawhi was going to become 8-2 versus the Raptors for his career. Toronto Raptors 82. And both teams fell to 7-3. Last year, the Raptors won the 73rd NBA season. And notice the Clippers improved to 6-1 at home on the 61-date numerology. Finals equals 61. So that game, perfect tribute to last year's NBA championship for Toronto and Kawhi, who now plays on the Clippers. And it just goes to show that every game has to be fixed for these rituals to line up the way they do. And the Jazz and the Warriors. Notice the score in the Warriors game again before the season even began. The day Mark Hurd died, October 22nd, the CEO of Oracle. Mark Hurd equaled 122. He died on 10/22, and I made that short video, and I said, just watch the first game of the Warriors. The final score will probably be 121 or 122. How many of the home games for the Warriors at their new building have already been a score of 121 or 122? Warriors 121, Golden State 122. It's so repetitive. It's so out of proportion how often scores finish with the Warriors with one of those two numbers. And you know actually what I said in that video? I said 121, 122, or 108 because Oracle equals 108, and so does Golden State Warriors. Then look at the Warriors score. 108, man. It's just such a joke. It's such a joke. All right. So basketball. It was a good day yesterday. 3-0 in the top three games that we liked. And then football, we know what happened in that. And did you see how it went down? 24-24 to go to overtime. What's Seahawks equal? Seahawks equals 24 in the most pure cipher, and 48 when you flip it around, like how they won Super Bowl 48. So 24-24, 48 combined points. And then because Seahawks has two S's in it and in a K, again, Seahawks is weird. If you just use the master numerology of K, which is the 11th letter, Seahawks is 33. Like, to date, they're the only team to win the Super Bowl on the 33rd day of the year. That was the year it was hosted in New York/New Jersey. And then if you use the rules with S, Seahawks is 42. Like how the Patriots became 4-2 in Super Bowls with Brady and Belichick by beating the Seahawks. Last night, the game-winning kick was a 42-yard field goal. And then if you use the rule with S and the master numerology of K... Hold on. What don't I see right now? Oh, I hit the wrong one. That's what it is. The rule with S and K, Seahawks is 51. I think I talked about that yesterday, how Seahawks have all those values. The final score was 27-24, 51 points. And yeah, it was a really close game, just like it was a really close narrative. So Seahawks were the better value pick. Remember everything that happened yesterday. Seattle equals 82. The Seahawks became 8-2 for the season. Russell Wilson became 8-2 on Monday Night Football. And the Seahawks, or Pete Carroll got his 130th win in the regular season on the day that Washington State turned 130 years old. And that was the other thing. Yesterday left 50 days left in the year. San Francisco's 50. So is Washington, in light of Washington State being where the Seahawks are from. They became 5-0 on the day leaving 50 days left in the year. But the reason the riddle was so tight was because the 49ers had a chance at becoming 5-0. Or not 5-0, but picking up their 50th win on Monday Night Football all time in the 50th season of MNF. So, two very, very tight narratives, and one of the tightest games of the year. A game that went to the last second of overtime. So, and then don't forget that overtime equals 44 like Seattle. So Seattle wins it in overtime. And I'm sure if the NFL weren't rigged, the coach would have elected to... by the way, the 49er had the first down when they didn't give it to him at the end. Hold on, let me take this call. Caller?
What's up, Zach?
Hey, man.
Hey, real quick. Russell Wilson finished that game with a QBR of 41. So I found that interesting that he finished that game with that 41 QBR, given it was the 50th date and the 50th modern era Super Bowl. So, yeah. Just kind of looking at that.
He also got his 83rd win in the regular season 83 days before the Super Bowl.
Right. So.
And the other thing is Seattle won the other football championship this year. Seattle equals 19. They just won the, MLS on Sunday, which was a span at 85 days from the Super Bowl, and National Football League's 85. So.
Right. And wasn't you just saying that they were the first Super Bowl winning team on the 33rd day of the year?
They were, yeah.
And this upcoming Super Bowl is on the 33rd day of the year?
Yeah, it is. So, yeah, there's only been one Super Bowl on the 33rd day of the year. This will be the second one ever.
All right, well, that's all.
All right, appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Yeah, I did say before the season began I expect a special year for Russell Wilson, but I thought it would be all about Russell Wilson this year, not so much the Super Bowl. But the Seahawks, they gotten Clowney since I said that, and now they got Josh Gordon. I heard they might even get Antonio Brown. I don't know if that's just the rumor mill, but we'll see. We'll see. That was a statement game last night. So, and again, we just saw the riddle go down with the Colts and the Miami Dolphins this week. And before there was a Baltimore Colts or a Miami Dolphins, there was a Miami Seahawks. Super Bowl's in Miami, so that's one other thing to think about. And Baltimore is the team that put it on the Seahawks in Seattle, so it's another thought. And in light of it, calling it the year of the black quarterback, and I've been wondering if there could be two black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl, that is a possible matchup that would have two black quarterbacks, Ravens and Seahawks, so it is something to think about. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so we covered hockey yesterday. We covered basketball yesterday. And let's talk about today. So the NBA games today. Guy called in and said if I can write a blurb for each game for what I'm thinking. So I did that today. If the Thunder lose, we talked about the Thunder losing the last game so that it would set up this scenario where they could fall to 4-7 in Indiana. So here we are. Indiana equals 47 if the Thunder lose. Indianapolis, IN equals 74. If the Pacers won, they'd be 7-4. The reflection of 47. And today has 17 date numerology. That's the 7th prime. If the Pacers won today, they'd get their 7th win, and the Thunder would get their 7th loss. So I guess I could write that too. Thunder could pick up 7th loss. So I'm thinking that that's the strongest riddle. Pacers have been playing pretty well lately. And let me double check something real quick. Did the Pacers play yesterday? Yeah, they did. They played at Orlando and won yesterday. Wait, hold on. No. That was 2 days ago. They didn't play yesterday, right? They rested. Okay, they rested yesterday. All right. So anyway, Pacers riddle looks better to me. I remember there was one thing to think about. Also, this was the one thing to think about with the Thunder. If the Thunder won this game, they would be 1-3 away, and they play in LA next. LA equals 13. And I'm thinking the Thunder will likely lose both of their games in LA. They play back-to-back there. So if the Thunder won, they'd go in 1-3. They'd lose the first game, become 1-4. And then they'd play the next LA team. LA is also 14. So that's just the only thing I really see for the Thunder is just going into LA 1-3. That's possible. But I like the more immediate riddle, the 47-74 for the Thunder and Pacers, and also how the 17s sync up with the date numerology. So I'm still going to favor the Pacers. The Thunder, by the way, they lead this series 51-38. And Indiana and Oklahoma City both have the 52 connection. So they don't necessarily have to pick up the 52nd win in Indiana. They could pick it up back home as well. But I'm going to favor the Pacers there. It's just that one little risk with the possible 1-3 record going into LA. We know 13 in LA does play hard, but like I wrote in the notes, if the Thunder lost this game, they'd go into LA 0-4. LA does also equal 4. And if they lost both games, they'd probably get their first away win at the Warriors' new building, becoming 1-5, because Chase Center equals 47 the 15th prime. The Cavs and 76ers game, this could be a possible upset here. The 76ers do have a shot at their 7th win on the 17-date numerology. So that's one thing. What could go against the Cavs is if they lost, they would be 2-4 away. 76ers does equal 24, but what could go in their favor is becoming 3-3 away. Of course, Cleveland equals 33, and then the next city they play at is New York, which equals 33. So that's one thing that's there for Cleveland. And 76ers does equal 55. If they won this game, they would be 5-5. And let's see. Philadelphia, PA equals 73. If the 76ers win, they're 7-3, picking up their 7th win on the 17-date numerology. And the 76ers' next home game is versus the Knicks. So if they lost this game, they'd fall to 3-1, and then they would most certainly beat the Knicks to become 4-1. If they won today, the Knicks might have a shot to upset them because we know that Knicks in 41 plays. If the 76ers did lose today, they'd be 3-1 at home. NBA TV's 31. So that's the so far the NBA TV riddles, they've been hit and miss, but the one number that hasn't been hitting with that NBA TV is 31. I haven't seen any of the 31 riddles come through with NBA TV. It doesn't mean it won't, but haven't observed that yet. So let's see. Cavs do have a narrative to surprise the 76ers here. They would be a nice payout too. It's just, if the 76ers didn't have a shot at that 7th win, I would be all over the Cavs upset, but they do have a shot at that 7th win on the 17 date. So it makes it tough. And again, if the Cavs fell to 2-4 away, 76ers is 24, there's that too. So there's a chance at an upset, but it's hard. I mean, 76ers are playing good, and Cavs are kind of a wild card team right now. The Pistons and Heat game. So the Heat lead 59-54. 59 is the 17th prime. You're on this 17 date. 17, of course, is the 7th prime. The Heat could get their 7th win of the season as well. And if they won, they'd be 7-3, the reflection of 3-7. Detroit's 37. If the Heat lost, though, they become 3-1 at home. Pistons is 31. That number definitely plays with the Pistons. That'd be the upset narrative. Pistons have not been playing well, though, and Heat have looked pretty formidable. So kind of hard to believe in the Pistons on the road playing against a good team. The Pistons, though, they're 4-6 in the conference. So if they won, they'd be 5-6. Miami Heat equals 56. I guess the other thing I should mention is 17-date numerology, which is the 7th prime. So they could also pick up that 7th loss in the conference. And let's see. Blake Griffin's 8-9 versus Miami. If he won, he'd be 9-9. Miami does equal 99. That's not with the base cipher. That's with the English extended cipher. But Miami and 99, we've seen a number of those riddles over the years. So I know that value matters. And then Jimmy Butler's 15-8 versus Detroit. I was looking at these teams' future opponents, and I couldn't really make any sense out of their home or away records. So I don't know if I'd mess with this game tonight. Miami's not a great payout unless they cover. And Detroit does have a pretty decent narrative to upset. Again, it's the Heat falling to 3-1 at home versus the Pistons, where 31 shows up with the Pistons quite a bit. And also the fact that the Pistons can be 5-6 in the conference. But again, there's also the chance at the 7 on the 17 date. So probably leave that game alone personally. The Knicks and the Bulls game. Bulls lead 122-108. The Knicks have won the last 3 games in the series. The Bulls could stay on 7 losses on the 17 date. If the Knicks... Hold on. I got dyslexic this morning. I was supposed to say split Knicks too. Whoops. Not lose Knicks too. Hold on, let me double check who the Knicks play again. I think the Knicks play the Mavericks at home next. Yeah, they got the Mavericks at home. Okay, for the Knicks to get to 3-9, that big New York number, they need to split the next 2. And I don't think they're going to win against Dallas, because Dallas, if they win, if I'm not mistaken, they'll be 7-4, and New York Knicks is 74. Let me see. Yeah, Dallas is 6-4 right now. I believe their next game is the Knicks. So, yeah, if they win, they're 7-4. New York Knicks 74. So pretty sure Dallas will win that next one. What's up, man?
Hey, man. Blake Griffin's out tonight.
Oh, he's not playing again?
No, he's not playing again.
Guy can't stay healthy.
Yeah, I know you're telling me, but he's I don't know what the line is, but the line should have moved somewhat. If it doesn't move, then it's pretty suspect.
Okay. All right. I'll check that out. Appreciate it.
All right,
Okay. Shoot. Yeah. I wish I didn't get dyslexic this morning because I was thinking the Knicks were going to lose their next 2 to fall to 3-9. Caller?
Zach, Blake Griffin is out today for Detroit.
Yeah, somebody just called and said that was the update, so I'm gonna check and see if the line moved. All right, thanks, Douglas. All right, see you, man. All right, so that Blake Griffin 9-9 riddle's off the board. Then that doesn't matter anymore. Let me see what the open was and what it's moved to. Okay. So now they're a favorite by 1 more point. Okay, but anyways, I liked it better when I was dyslexic, but that wasn't right. Okay, so the Bulls, their next home game is against the Nets. Nets is 23, just like how we talked about Utah. If they won yesterday, they were going to become 2-3 away, and they face the Nets away next. So it would make sense for the Bulls to face the Nets 2-3 at home. And if the Bulls do win that game, they become 3-3. Bulls is 33, and New York's 33. So I still think the Bulls have the better riddle here. And if Chicago wins this game, they'll be 3-5 in the conference. Chicago's 35, so that's another good riddle for the Bulls. And if New York loses, they'll be 1-7 in the conference on the 17-date numerology. So the one mistake I had in that decode was thinking the Knicks could fall to 3-9 by losing the next 2, but still, Bulls got a record that makes sense with the next opponent. They got a good conference record with a win, and the Knicks have a good conference record based on the date numerology. Plus, the Bulls can stay on 7 losses on the 17 date. So, I think the Bulls look better there. And then the Nets and the Jazz game. This one's interesting because if the Nets won, they'd be 2-3 away. Nets is 23, but at the same time, Utah is 14. The game is in Utah. That 14 is pretty consistent with Utah. This is the 91st game between these teams, the 13th triangular number. Nets is 13. The Jazz lead the series 59-31. Their next loss in the series is 32. Utah Jazz is 32. It doesn't have to come today. So again, Nets can fall to 1-4 away. Utah's 14 or improve to 2-3 like Nets is 23. If the Nets did win today, they might have a shot to upset the Nuggets in the next game. But, I mean, those are two really tough road games at Utah and then at Denver. Nets, it's still early in the season. I mean, the Nets could end up playing lights out if their team gels. But, maybe Kyrie Irving scores 50 in back-to-back games. You just never know. But if the Nets did upset tonight, them upsetting the Nuggets would be a real possibility because they'd improve to 3-3 away, and Nuggets is 33, of course, so is New York, like Brooklyn's in New York. And the game they play away after the Nuggets is the Bulls, and Bulls equals 33. So just show you this real quick. Nets tonight, and then Thursday, Nuggets, and then Saturday, the Bulls. So you'd have to play tough on the road. Salt Lake City, UT, the way they write it up here, also sums to 199, the 46th prime. So if the Nets lost this game, they would be 4-6 as well and 1-4 away, which would be numbers specific to Utah where the game is. And usually if push comes to shove, the location of the game is what takes the cake between Nets equaling 23 and Utah equaling 14. So it is more likely, I would say, that the Nets lose this game. Also, one other thing to consider about this game is if the Jazz did lose, they'd fall to 5-1 at home. And then they play Minnesota next at home. So if they lost back-to-back games, you actually could get a Minnesota 52 riddle here as well. They could become 5-2 at home versus Minnesota with back-to-back home losses. And let's see. The Jazz right now are 2-0 versus the East. If they won, they'd be 3-0. Utah Jazz is 1-1-3, the 30th prime. So, a little bit dicey this game. Utah 7-point favorite. But I might just observe this one, and if the Nets do win, that would probably be a pretty significant underdog at Denver next, but they'd have a good narrative there. So the Hawks at the Nuggets game, Denver was an 11-point favorite last I looked. I don't know why ESPN didn't have it up on their page, but I took it off the pregame. And here, let's see if it's changed since this morning. Well, they got up to 11, and now it's down to 10, so some money must have went on Atlanta to cover. But what stands out about this one, Phoenix equals 46. If the Hawks upset, they would be 4-6 heading to Phoenix next. However, Suns also equals 73. The reflection is 37, so if the Hawks lost and went in to the Suns game 3-7. There's some rhyme and reason to that too. Phoenix is also 91, the 13th triangular number. If the Hawks lost, they'd be 1-3 away going into Phoenix. And if the Hawks lost this game and at Phoenix, which is very probable since both teams are playing great, they'd go. Their next away game is LA, and LA is 14. So they'd fall to 1-4 away to face LA. And that seems like the most likely scenario based on them being on the road, not being a very good team going up against two quality teams. The biggest scare for the Nuggets is falling to 3-2 at home because Denver's 32 and so is Atlanta Hawks. So it's not an upset's not out of the question, but just looking at what's upcoming, I'm thinking that the Nuggets probably get it done. Also, if the Nuggets do win, they'd be 4-1 at home, and they face Brooklyn next. Brooklyn's 41. So they'd have a perfect home record to host Brooklyn. And also the 17 date numerology. Hawks can pick up that 7th loss, 17 the 7th prime. Could also make an argument that the Nuggets could stay on 7, but usually picking up the numbers the stronger riddle. So Hawks upset, not out of the question. If you want to put together a small parlay with a big multiplier with the Hawks winning, who are heavy underdogs, I'd consider that. But Nuggets probably get it done here to improve to 4-1 at home to host Brooklyn. And also, if Denver splits their next two games, which would be the Nets narrative, if the Nets win tonight and then win the next one to get to 3-3, if Denver won tonight against the Hawks and lost to the Nets in the next game, they would be 8-3. Memphis is 83. Memphis Grizzlies is 83. If you want to add to that list, Colorado's 83. 83 is also the 23rd prime. Nets is 23. So if Nuggets win tonight and the Nets win tonight, just remember that, because I'm sure Nets will be a good underdog against the Nuggets. That's what I would like to see happen. I'd like to see the Nets upset and the Nuggets win tonight, because it sets up a great narrative in the next game for the Nets. So, Lakers and Suns. I think the Suns might upset the Lakers here. LeBron's 22-10 versus the Suns. Today is November 12th. 11 plus 12 is 23. Could pick up that 23rd win versus the Suns. That's possible. Booker's 7-8 versus the Lakers. It is 17-8 numerology, the 7th prime. So looking at the stars on the team, that favors the Lakers a little bit. But Suns equals 73, and Los Angeles is 37, the reflection. If the Lakers lose this game, they're 7-3, and the Suns are 7-3. And we had a Phoenix Suns 52 riddle earlier this season when they beat the 76ers to become 5-2. Notice if the Suns win, they're 5-2 at home. Phoenix Suns 52, Suns 73. Big statement game for them if they can get it done. The narrative that could go against the Suns with their home record is 4-3 is like 43, the 14th prime. LA's 14. And if LA wins, they're 4-1 away, that big LA number. LA 41. The Suns, who they play, though, after this game at home, if they improve tonight to 5-2, they'll be golden against the Hawks, because Hawks equals 62. So if they win tonight, they're 5-2. Then they beat the Hawks at home, 6-2. And that fits in with the Hawks losing tonight and at the Suns to become 1-4 away to face LA next. So Suns definitely have a fighting chance here. The Suns are also 4-2 in the conference right now. Phoenix Suns equals 52, so they can improve to 5-2 in the conference. The Lakers are 4-1 in the conference. If they lost, they'd be 4-2. Lakers is 42. Arizona's 42. LeBron James is 42. And just looking down the road a little bit. And again, it is good to look down the road just to kind of see what might happen. Sometimes it's real helpful, like the gentleman who won 4 times in a row and kept doubling his money when we saw the nice pattern with LA to win 4 in a row earlier this year. And remember, when we saw that pattern, it was because LA equals 41 and Dallas equals 41. LA started off 0-1. We saw if they won their next 4 games, they'd be 4-1 against Dallas, plus Kings 41, West is 41. So, there was a strong reason to believe in that riddle down the road. But just looking ahead for the Lakers, if they did win tonight and they won the next game, they'd be 9-2 to face the Kings, and Sacramento Kings is 92. It's the team LeBron first played against in his career. If you go back and look at the box score, he played 42 minutes in that game. His first ever career game when he was a rookie against the Kings. So it's not a one-way street, this game, but if I'm playing this, I favor the Suns here. And I'll always take points when I take an underdog. A lot of basketball games, they do finish by 1 or 2 points. So if the Suns lost in a close one, little cushion there. But overall, there is more that lines up here for the Suns than the Lakers. Best case scenario for the Lakers is that 4-1 away record, and going into Sacramento 9-2. So Trailblazers and Kings. To me, this looks like one of the better riddles of the day. Here, let me take this call real quick. Caller?
Hey, Zach?
Yeah?
Hey, you're live streaming right now?
Uh-huh.
Hey, I just jumped on it, and I wanted to make sure you were live. Did you check, did you talk about the football game last night with the 49ers yet?
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, that thing was scripted, dude, so badly. Let me check this out, dude. I mean, I thought it was going to be 49ers all the way. This is Ghost Riders Anonymous, by the way. We talked about this game, and we talked about the Packers in Carolina. And I was pretty confident that 49ers are going to go undefeated to go against the Packers and make the Packers 7-4. Obviously, that's not happening.
Right.
Check this out. No. So Seattle wins the game in overtime with a walk-off field goal.
Right.
Here's the numbers. Seattle equals 82.
Did you watch yesterday's live stream that we did on this game?
No, I didn't.
Oh, yeah. Well, here, I'll just tell you. We already know. Russell Wilson became 8-2 on Monday Night Football. Seattle became 8-2. Seattle's 82. But yesterday was Washington's 130th birthday, and Pete Carroll got his 130th regular season win.
Right.
So,
but there's even more than that.
Well, there is more than that, but yeah, we all right. So what else you got?
Check it out. It's a script. It's the narrative, the storyline. Seattle, 44. Field goal is 44.
So is overtime. Yeah.
Overtime, 44.
Right.
Veterans Day, 44.
Right.
Seattle is 82. Seahawks walk-off, 82.
Soldiers, 82 too.
82.
And Soldiers, 82 too, since it was Veterans Day. Yeah, these are things we talked about yesterday, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't get to see that. I just want to make sure you saw that.
Yeah.
Because I looked back again and I went back over my research on the Packers and Lions game. The Lions lost on 2 penalties on the same guy, Flowers, for hands to the face.
Right.
And it said I put down, I did that research and I found this: 2 penalties equals 66. Lions equals 66. 2 penalty flags, 61. Detroit Lions, 61. Bad call, 35. Flowers, the player that got called on, 35. Penalty, 30. Lions, 30. Hands to the face, 69. Lions, 69. But also keep in mind, Packers is 69. Field goal, 44. Packers, 44. Lions also equals 44, but field goal, 46. Mason walk-off, 46.
It's Detroit that's 44, not Lions, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
Okay, I wrote that down wrong, sorry.
That's all good,
but
man.
Yeah, field goal, 46. Mason walk-off, 46.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's so much more to this that they're doing than just the numbers on the surface.
Sure.
Apparently, I mean, this is what makes it so hard. Apparently, to me, it seems like this is what makes it so hard for you to decode.
So on the primetime games, something that we talked about yesterday is if the 49ers were going to lose at home teams were going to be 6-5 for the season, and San Francisco 49ers equals 65. So it seems that the primetime games are all synced up week after week. And so, yeah. But I got to get back to the live stream we're doing today, man, but I appreciate the notes.
All right, no problem.
All right, take care, man. See you.
Bye.
Okay. All right, so Lakers and Suns. To me, it looks like Suns got the better narrative. Again, both teams can be 7-3. Suns 73 plus everything else we talked about. I was about to say Blazers and Kings looks like one of the better riddles of the day. Blazers, because they've been playing terrible, are just barely a favorite on the road, but you got an overlap number here. Sacramento and Portland both equal 37, so Kings can fall to 3-7. And if the Kings lose, they'll be 1-4. NBA TV's 14. We have seen the 14 riddles coming through with NBA TV. But remember, Blazers is 43, the 14th prime, so Kings fall to 1-4. Blazers improve to 4-3 away. And the Kings play Los Angeles next as well. So if they fall to 3-7, not only do you have overlap number with this game, but then they go into LA 3-7, Los Angeles 37. And I think that game's I'm pretty sure that game's at home. I just want to verify real quick. Kings schedule, NBA. Add that to the note. LA 14. Kings next game is in LA. So their away record also makes... Oh, wait, hold on. No. Sorry, I got dyslexic for a second. Yeah, it doesn't matter because it's their... that would be their away record. Okay, but anyway, you have the overlap with 37. Both the home and away records for both teams make sense if the Blazers win. And if the Blazers win, they're also 4-4 in the conference. Portland's 44. And hold on, let me make sure Sacramento's not also... No, it's not. Okay. So, yeah. Anyway, I really like that both teams can hit the 37. 37 is always big with Portland. In the last game, that was tricky with Portland because I forget who they played, but the one team had a chance to fall to 1-2 away, 37, the 12th prime, or the Blazers could fall to 3-7. So in that game, you had the 37 playing both ways. But tonight, it just plays one way. So Blazers look good to me. And again, just to take it from the top real quick with basketball, Pacers have the better riddles for the immediate game. The one concern is if the Thunder did upset, they'd go into LA 1-3 away. So that is a little something. We know LA in 13 is a strong connection, but still, Indiana in 47 is a strong connection too. So Thunder falling to 4-7 in Indiana, Pacers getting to 7-4. And the 7's playing both ways on the 17 date. Pacers get the 7th win, Thunder get the 7th loss. So still got to roll with the Pacers there. Cavs and 76ers. I'd probably leave this game alone since Philadelphia is such a big favorite. But again, if you want to try to get that parlay multiplier effect, Cavs do have a shot at an upset here. And if you're just trying to put together a card full of winners, Cavs to cover would probably be the smartest way to play the Cavs because there's plenty of reasons to believe the 76ers could win this game. It's just the Cavs getting to 3-3 away in light of who they face next, New York. It's there. But again, they lose. They're 2-4 away, and 76ers is 24. So, tricky game. Pistons at Heat. Again, Heat can get that 7th win on the 17-date numerology. The risk is they can fall to 3-1 away. Not 3-1 away, 3-1 at home. Pistons is 31. And again, if the Pistons won, they'd be 5-6 in the conference. Miami Heat's 56. Could also get that 7th loss in the conference on the 17 date. So, tricky riddle there with that game. So, if you're just trying to play it safe, I don't think I could count that as a safe game. It's hard to trust the Pistons on the road the way they've been playing. Knicks and Bulls. Again, it looks pretty good here for the Bulls. Knicks should lose their next game to the Mavericks. Again, the Mavericks will become 7-4 against the Knicks. New York Knicks 74. The one concern about the Knicks is if they split their next 2 games, they're 3-9, that big New York number. But I remember last year the Knicks actually whiffed on quite a few 39 riddles, which was interesting. I don't feel like that's going to happen this year, but anyway. Bulls still look better tonight. If they win, they're 2-3 at home. They host the Nets next. Nets is 23. And let me just make sure that's correct, since I got dyslexic when I did. The Bulls' next game's at the Bucks, so the Bulls will likely lose that game. Milwaukee Bucks is 48 in the most pure cipher, so if they win tonight, they're 4-7. Then they lose to the Bucks to become 4-8. Makes a ton of sense. Staying on the 7 losses on the 17 date. And again, if Chicago wins, they're 3-5 in the conference. You got 35 date numerology. And then New York can fall to 1-7 in the conference on the 17-date numerology. So I like that. Nets and Jazz, it's also dicey. It's very possible the Nets get 2 upsets in a row here. Beat the Jazz and then beat the Nuggets on the road. Seems very unlikely right now the way they've been playing. But again, if they did, they'd become 2-3 away tonight. Nets is 23, then they'd beat the Nuggets. Nuggets is 3-3, or Nuggets equals 33. They'd be 3-3 away, and then they play the Bulls next. Bulls 33. So it's possible. But the concern is, again, if the Nets lose, they're 1-4 away, like 14. 14 in Utah plays hard. And if the Nets do lose, they're 4-6 overall. Salt Lake City, UT's 199, the 46th prime. And on the other side, if the Jazz lost tonight, they'd be 5-1 at home. They'd become 7-4. I didn't write that down, did I? Brooklyn, New York does equal 74. I know that for a fact. Etsy out of Brooklyn, New York banned my book on the 74th day of the year. Okay. So, possible. And then if the Jazz did lose, they might very well lose that next game at home because, again, they face Minnesota next. If they lost the next 2 home games, they'd be 5-2 and Minnesota's 52. So, tough one. Again, Nets' record does make perfect sense with the loss, but a win sets them up for a great riddle to beat the Nuggets in the next game. Hawks and Nuggets. Again, Hawks are probably going to lose this game, and it looks like they're definitely destined to lose to the Suns next, especially if they lose tonight. The best case scenario for the Hawks to win is to become 4-6 because the next opponent, Phoenix, equals 46. But again, like we said, they lose this game, and then they lose to Phoenix. They're 1-4 away, heading into LA 14. So Nuggets could fall to 3-2 at home because Denver's 32 and Atlanta Hawks is 32. They'd stay on 7 wins on the 17 date. Hawks can also pick up that 7th loss on the 17 date. But again, the reason I think the Nuggets are going to win here is to get to 4-1 at home because Brooklyn's 41 and that's who they host next. And so often these records, the home and away, are pointing to the next opponent. Just like if the Hawks lose, they're 1-3 away. Phoenix is also 91, the 13th triangular number. So, Nuggets are a big favorite. They're not much of a payout, so you might just want to skip that game just so you don't have to take on that risk. You could think about the Hawks as a parlay multiplier, but I do suspect they're going to lose this game and the next one to roll into LA 1-4. And it does look very much like Denver can split the next 2 games. So, I'll just add to these notes. Colorado's 83, Nets is 23. 83 is the 23rd prime. They play Nets next. And Denver is 3-0 versus the East. If they won tonight, they'd be 4-0. Brooklyn equals 40 and 41. Again, that's who they play next. So, if Denver wins tonight, they become 4-0 to host Brooklyn. That's for the East, their record versus the Eastern Conference. Then they could lose and fall to 4-1. Lakers and Suns one more time. Suns equals 73 if the Suns win this game. Both teams are 7-3. Phoenix Suns is 52 if the Suns win. They're 5-2 at home. They host the Hawks next. Hawks is 62, so if they win their next 2 home games, they're 6-2. Lakers, again, can fall to 3-2 or improve to 4-1, the big LA number for their away record. And when you look at the conference record, if the Suns win, they're 5-2 in the conference. Phoenix Suns 52. If the Lakers lose, they're 4-2 in the conference. Lakers 42. Same with Arizona, where the game's at. So, again, best case scenario really just tonight is Lakers getting to 4-1 away because LA's 41. But I think the Suns are going to get it here. What's up, man?
Hey, good afternoon, Zach.
What's on your mind?
Just wanted to add one note about the Bulls game. So this is the 113th home game that between the Bulls and the Knicks. Michael Jordan, when you write it out, equals 113.
Right.
And we all know he was born in New York. But it also equals 59 and 76. And the Bulls' record at home against the Knicks is 75 and 37. So they can get that 76 victory and make the Knicks 2-9. And I believe Jordan equals 29 as well.
Did you measure how many days it is after Jordan's birthday?
Yeah, it's 269 days, the 57th prime.
Okay, nice. And Michael Jordan's 59. Huh, that's interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Nice.
But that was all. And I want to say thank you to Kayla, because yesterday she was actually the person that made it more definitive to me. She put in the chat that it was actually 130 days from Independence Day to yesterday's game as well, which was kind of interesting to me. So once I saw that, I kind of went heavy on Seattle.
Huh, that's interesting. So yesterday was 130 days after July 4th?
Yeah, so when I saw that in the chat and Kayla put it, I was like, oh, wow, okay. And so that put it all together for me. And then you connecting as well with the Washington equal 130. I didn't even know that, but when you said that, you struck a light bulb in my head once I got off the phone.
Yeah, because Carroll got that 130th win yesterday. And then George Washington equals 70 for, like, Independence Day. Huh, that's a trip. I'm gonna have to look at that with the states. I wonder if they're all. I wonder if a lot of the establishment dates are measured from Independence Day. That'd be something else.
That's definitely something to pay attention to.
Yeah.
But thank you, Zach. Again, have a good day.
Yeah, you too, man. Good one. All right, sounds like Victor ended up going with the Seahawks yesterday. And good work, Kayla. Yeah, she makes great observations. So from Jordan's birthday to today is 268 days, or a span of 269, and that's the 57th prime. I think New York City's 57. Is that right? Let me check. Yeah, New York City's 57. Okay. But yeah, again, I like that the Bulls win. They're 2-3 at home to host the Nets next. Again, all right. Oh, I already reviewed all that, right? Yeah, I was talking about the Lakers and Suns, and then Trailblazers and Kings. I really love the overlap numbers. Portland, Sacramento, 37. Kings fall to 3-7. They fall to 1-4 at home. NBA TV's 14. Blazers is 43, the 14th prime. Blazers get to 4-3 away. And then one more time, the conference record makes sense too, because Portland would be 4-4 in the conference. Portland's 44. So I like that. Caller?
Hey Zach, on that Knicks and Bulls game, I haven't taken a look at it, but the Knicks coach, one of the big stories in the on the sports channels today has been that the Knicks coach kind of in the hot seat, or that the Knicks organization threw the coach under the bus or something like that.
Fizdale.
Yeah, so you might want to take a look at his record or his birthday, and that might give a clue for that game also.
Yeah, I'll do that. That's a good tip. Appreciate that. Yeah. All right, thanks, man.
No problem.
All right, let's check it out. I think he's on 19 wins right now with the Knicks. Is that right? Yeah, he's on 19 wins with the Knicks right now. Knicks is 67, the 19th prime. Caller?
When you write out Chicago Bulls, it equals 112. Today resembles kind of 112, 11, 12.
Sure.
Just want to point that one out.
All right, thanks, man. All right, see you. What's interesting about Fizdale is he's on 19 wins and 73 losses. If he lost today, he'd get his 74th loss. New York Knicks is 74. And that could be the symbolic one that gets him fired. And then again, Knicks is 67, the 19th prime. He's on 19 wins with the Knicks. 69 and 124 overall. So his next loss is definitely symbolic. And let's see, his birthday, June 16th. It's 149 days after his birthday, the 35th prime. Chicago's 35, and again, Chicago can get to 3-5 in the conference by winning today. If they lost, they'd be 2-6. Jordan's 26. Today is 149 days after Knicks coach's birthday. 149, 35th prime. Chicago 35. So I think fired equals 33. Oh, fired also equals 93? This is going to be his 93rd game with the Knicks right here. Huh. Yeah, let's watch to see if that happens. This is his 93rd game right here. If he got fired after this game, that'd be something else. Fired 93. All right, I'm not even going to say, again, I favor Pacers. It's not a one-way street game, but I like the Pacers riddle. Again, I talked about the Thunder losing their last game to fall to 4-7 in Indiana, so I'm sticking with the initial thought. Cavs and 76ers, I think, is a dangerous game. There's narratives going both ways. And could think about the Cavs on a small parlay card as a big multiplier. Pistons and Heat, I feel like it's dangerous too. It's kind of funny that those are dangerous games, right? Because if you don't have Gematria, you're like, oh, please, the 76ers are definitely going to beat the Cavs at home. Heat are going to handle their business against the Pistons. And it might very well go that way because both of the thing is both of these games have narratives going both ways. Knicks and Bulls, again, I like the Bulls narrative here. So The best case scenario for New York is to win this game because it looks like they will lose that next game to the Dallas Mavericks. If they split the next two games, they'd be 3-9 and New York's 39. But hold on, since we're doing sports, this just popped up. Could Kaepernick return this year? All right, keep an eye on that story. But yeah, there's just too many things here that line up with Chicago, in my opinion. So I'm taking Chicago there. Nets and Jazz, I also find this game dangerous. I think there's a real possibility the Nets upset, but it's too hard to pick them to upset because, again, Utah has a connection to 46 and 14. So if they lose, they're 4-6 and 1-4 away in Utah. Hawks and Nuggets, there's an upset narrative here on the board too, but I do think the Nuggets should win tonight and very possibly lose to the Nets in the next game, especially if the Nets win tonight. If the Nets win tonight, there's a golden riddle for the Nuggets. If the Nuggets win tonight and the Nets win tonight, I got to assume the Nets are taking that next game because it sets up the riddle perfectly. So I'm looking for that tonight. And can Hawks probably lose this game and to the Suns next to go into LA 1-4. Lakers and Suns. It's hard to go against the Lakers, but Suns to me got the better riddle here. So if I'm playing this game, I'm taking the Suns with the little cushion, the 2.5 points. And Trailblazers and Kings, I think the Blazers get it done here. They're a slight favorite on the road, but again, I think Sacramento will fall to 3-7. Portland 37, Sacramento 37. That's the most pure cipher too, just like Los Angeles is 37 in the most pure cipher. Kings play Los Angeles next. So I like that. Okay. Just wanted to make sure I was clear, so review it 3 times. Hockey, I feel like I'm off my game right now on hockey, and I've felt off my game ever since ESPN took the points off the front page. Ever since they did that, it seems like the points riddles haven't been as golden as they always have been before. Recall on Sunday equals 21. It was November 10th, 11 plus 10, 21. The 21 riddles hit hard in the NHL. 4 out of 5 came through on Sunday this past weekend, 2 days ago. Today is 11 plus 12, 23. Tuesday equals 23. One of the top news stories today was a 23-year-old who attacked a kindergarten group in China. They said he was 23 years old, this story on Tuesday. So anyway, the 23 points riddles could smash today. If Florida wins, they'd get their 23rd points. Bruins equals 83, the 23rd prime. If the Panthers won to pick up those 23rd points today over the Bruins, so again, you have the date is 11 plus 12, 23. Tuesday equals 23, and Bruins equals 83, the 23rd prime. So if Florida wins, they get those 23rd points. If they won, their next opponent is Winnipeg, and Winnipeg equals 97, the 25th prime, and that game's back at home. So if Florida wins today, they should be golden against Winnipeg too. And the one narrative for Boston is their next points are their 27th, and Florida is the 27th state, but this game's in Boston. I think we just saw the Capitals pick up their 27th points against Florida, if I'm not mistaken. Capitals also equals 27, though. If the Bruins lost in overtime today, they'd have 26 points, and Panthers equals 101, the 26th prime, so maybe the Bruins lose in overtime. And Florida, they play Carolina next away. If they won their next 2 away games, this game and Carolina, which is a tough task, 2 good teams, they'd be 7-3-3 away. Carolina's 73. If Florida lost in overtime today, they'd stay on the 5 wins and 3 losses to face Carolina. Carolina and Hurricanes also equal 53. So through the away record, you can make an argument either way. Something I started doing today that I don't know why I never thought of it before, but I'm really going to observe this today because if this is right, this could help us go get even better in hockey. I haven't been thinking about the points that teams have for their respective home and away records, and I don't know why this never dawned on me before today. But I was like, I need to start paying attention to this. Hold on, we got a caller here. Caller?
Hey, Zach. It's Ron from California. How's your day going, man?
It's going all right. What's up?
That's good. Well, just to make it quick, I'm not sure where you're at, but just wanted to thank you for yesterday for Monday Night Football. Also found a quarterback riddle through Veterans Day. The 163, the 38th prime number. Looks like Jimmy is now 16-3 as a quarterback, and Russell Wilson, he stayed on 38 losses, with the 163 being the 38th prime.
Right. Yep. That's right.
So that's what made me go with Seattle last night.
Well, you got to thank yourself, man. You made a good call. I was torn on that game, but good work.
Yeah, and someone also mentioned that in the chat too. I'm not sure who, but I noticed that someone said that Veterans Day was 163, so I just looked into it more, and the golden nugget was there.
Veterans Day equals 163 too?
Veterans Day, it does.
Maybe we covered that yesterday and I forgot. Yeah, it is.
You had it being 44. I think that's one of the numbers.
Yeah, it is 163. Yep. So.
And, it was a massive quarterback riddle there.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, man.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Zach. All right, I'll let you go. Take care, man.
All right, see you, man. See you.
Appreciate it.
You got to ask yourself, though, what is the meaning of having the 49ers having the chance at their 50th win on Monday Night Football and not getting it on the day, leaving 50 days left in the year? I mean, why did... It's like... For those of you who are new here, I used to just dominate primetime football until last year. Last year, it got much more difficult. It's like, before last year, primetime riddles were just like literally taking candy from a baby. They were just so obvious. And yesterday's was one of the tightest ever, but that's just how primetime's been the last 2 seasons. It's like, I can't figure out if they started scripting it this way because they saw how we were exposing it, and but somehow, some way, they figured out how to make the riddles so tight in so many of the primetime games. Some of them are still gimmies, but a lot of them are just... It just seems amazing how it could even be done the way it is, like yesterday's game. Okay, so coming back to hockey, Florida has 13 away points, and Bruins equals 43, the 14th prime. They'd have to score at least 1 point to be able to get to 16 in the next away game, because Carolina and Hurricanes are both 53, the 16th prime. And then Boston's on 14 points at home. Panthers and Florida, who they play, both equal 43, the 14th prime. So it would be a good team to hold them on 14 points. And the Bruins' next home game is against the Capitals. Tough game. If they split the next 2 games, it looks like Boston will split the next 2 games because they would be 8-3 overall, 8 wins and 3 combined losses. Bruins equals 83, but they'd also be 8. Well, assuming that it doesn't go to. Well, assuming that they get a win and a regulation loss, because they'd be 8-1 here as well, and Capitals is 81. So I'm thinking the Bruins do split their next 2 games. Obviously, the easier game is Florida, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be the one they win. So, looking at the points riddle, this looks better to me for the Panthers. And I see there is one thing I left out of my notes that should be there. This is a dangerous game, but the points riddle's best with Florida. Caller?
Hey, what up, Zach?
What's up, man?
Hey, yesterday was Veterans Day, and I just want to say, in the next 3 games, they had a World War II soldier, Harmonica Pete. He sang he was doing the harmonica national anthem, and actually he was wearing it's kind of like the pre ceremony. He was wearing a New York Knicks, and look, kind of the ceremony things when usually when they do some ceremony. And one last thing also, I got this interesting stat that's very let me see. It's let me see right here. Right here. New York is the only team in the NBA allowing 109 plus points per 100 possessions, while scoring fewer than 100 points per 100 possessions. I know the season's early,
All right. Appreciate it, Izzy. Thanks, man.
All right.
All right, see you. Yeah. Maybe Fizdale does get fired today. Hold on. Somebody just sent a text, too, real quick, who's normally in the chat. What in the world? Okay, I'm not sure what they're trying to show you this chat. It's a picture of Tony Parker that looks bizarre, but if you want to call in about that and inform us what's going on there, I'd appreciate it. Okay, so yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. The points riddle does look good for Florida, but there's some things on the board that just make me go, and ha. And again, something's up with the NHL ever since ESPN took the points off the front page, which is about 4 days ago now. Okay. Blue Jackets and Canadians. Columbus is on 15 points. We do have a 17 date numerology. 17 is the 7th prime. It's possible they could pick up the 17th points today and get their 7th win of the season. They do play the Blues next. Blues equals 59, the 17th prime. Slightly tougher opponent than the Canadians. But they do play that game at home, Columbus. So that would be a great team to get these 17th points against. Caller?
Hi, Zach. On the mobile app for the ESPN NHL, they still show the points.
Huh. Interesting. Okay, not sure why they took it off their website.
Okay.
All right.
My mobile app still shows the points. That's all I got.
Okay, appreciate it. Thanks, man.
All right, there.
Yeah, for whatever reason, though, they took it off the website. I mean, you can see there's no points there anymore. So Blue Jackets, it's tough. It's like, ooh, do they get those 17th points in this game and go into the Blues game and stay on the 17 points? That would be the thing to look for. If the Blue Jackets do pick up those 17th points today, I assume they'll lose to the Blues in the next one. Caller?
Hey, what's up, Zach? You still doing the live stream?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make 2 quick points. The Baltimore, Seattle, I'm kind of feeling that. If it is that we have the black quarterback, that would be a good matchup, Baltimore versus Seattle, if you look at it like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
And the last thing, did you do a story about Don Cherry, the hockey dude?
Yeah.
He got fired after 38 years.
Yeah. Immigrant equals 50, and he got fired yesterday, the day leaving 50 days left in the year for his remark on immigrants, so...
So you think that's a Stanley Cup riddle or something, or it doesn't mean nothing really?
No, I think there's definitely some symbolism to it too, because yesterday both the nation's capitals lost, and his remarks were about veterans, and it was Veterans Day in America, and America's 50. So there is something definitely going on there. I don't know hockey history well enough, but yeah.
I don't know it either, but I just know it was true. But is that number 38? So I was thinking about that Charles Rogers. He died at 38, and he got fired after 38 years. So the 38 been popping up.
Right. Well, and then Veterans Day is 163, the 38th prime, and he got fired on Veterans Day. So.
And plus he's 85.
Yeah, I got to think about that. I know how that number relates to the NFL. I'm not sure about hockey. I'll have to look at that. So, yeah. Yeah.
I think it was one more point I wanted to make, but I think I forgot. Oh yeah, I was thinking. I was watching Chigozie video, and he was saying something about John Madden. He don't think John Madden might make it to 83. How old
he's 83 right now. John Madden is 83 right now. I'm thinking John Madden.
He's 83.
Yeah, I've been saying the same thing about John Madden. Jim Brown's 83 right now too. I'm watching both those guys. So.
Okay. All right, so I just wanted to make those quick points. That's it.
All right, appreciate it, man.
Okay.
All right, thanks. Okay, but the Canadians, what they have going today is they're another team that can pick up the 23rd points. Tuesday's 23, 11 plus 12, 23, and it's reminding me of Sunday because a lot of the games line up with this 23 today, so it could be the number of the day because oftentimes themes will run through the whole league. So Montreal's a pretty big favorite at home. They got the 23 narrative. I'm thinking that's where the riddles are at today. If the Canadians win this game, they'll get their 12th points at home, and then their next home games against New Jersey, 43, the 14th prime, and New Jersey does put out a lot of 43 and 14. So I'm thinking, But again, I've never tracked the points with the home and away records, but it would only make sense. So I got to lean Canadians here. It's not a one-way street, though. Columbus does have a shot at those 17th points. There's plenty of upsets in hockey. If Canadians win 2 out of their next 3 games, and their 2 out of their next 3 games are against 2 losing teams, the Blue Jackets, who have 6 wins and 11 losses right now, and New Jersey, who has a similar record, and then they have 1 tough game against the Capitals. But if the Canadians win 2 out of these 3 games, so beating Blue Jackets, beating New Jersey, and both of these games are at home too, they'll be 11-9 for the season, and that third game is New Jersey, which equals 119. So I'm thinking they're probably going to win both these home games, Blue Jackets and New Jersey, because the record will make sense at home, and the overall record will make sense too. What's interesting, however, is if the Canadians won today and beat the Capitals, which is on the road, they'd be 11-8 for the season. 11 wins, 8 losses. Seen a lot of that number this year. And Montreal's 118. But I don't know. At the Capitals, that's a tough one. So I'm leaning Canadians here because I think 23 is the number of the day. But at the same time, Blue Jackets upset. I mean, there is a little something there to believe in it. That 17 numerology. So if you don't want to play this game and you just want to observe, remember if the Blue Jackets lose, they'll have a good narrative to beat the Blues the next game, and that'd be a nice upset too. Because again, Blues is 59, the 17th prime. The Penguins and Rangers game. Pittsburgh's another team that can pick up the 23rd points today. So I'm really watching those 23s. What could go against the Penguins, and again, it usually is historically it's been the points in the time we've been doing this, but like I said, ever since the day they took the points off the front page on ESPN, the points riddles haven't been quite as consistent as normal. I still say they're coming through more often than not, but not as good of a clip. So the one thing that could go against the Penguins, if they lost, they'd be 4-4 away. Rangers is 44. And New York Rangers is 193, the 44th prime. Rangers also sums to 107. And notice if the Penguins lost, they'd be 10-7-1. They come in 10-7. They have 10 wins and 7 losses right now. Again, hockey, you got to read the 6-1 as, regulation losses and overtime losses. So they come in 10-7 to face the Rangers. However, if the Penguins win today, again, they have the 23-point riddle on their side. If they win today, their next away game is New Jersey, and Devils equals 37, the 12th prime. So 2 pretty mediocre teams. Penguins win these 2 away games, they'll pick up their 12th away points against the Devils, 37, the 12th prime. So perfect team to get the 12th points against. And if the Penguins did get the 10th points in New York, remember when you write out 10, it equals 39 like New York. Quite a relationship with 10 and 39. 39 books in the Old Testament, 10 commandments. So that's there. And if the Penguins win today, they get their 11th win in New York, the 11th state, and they'd get their 12th win over the Devils. Again, Devils 37, the 12th prime, plus their 12th away points. So because Pittsburgh has the 23 on their side, I think that is the strongest riddle. I suspect the majority of the 23 games are going to come through today. If the Rangers lost, they'd fall to 4-7 at home. I just thought about something else that I should have thought of before. So actually, this is neutral. The Rangers' next home games against the Capitals from Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is 56. The letters D.C. are 47, so they're either going to be 4-7 at home or 5-6 at home after tonight's game. Guess you can make an argument either way. But if the Rangers do lose tonight, they'll be 7 wins, 9 losses. Tampa Bay's 79. That's who they play next. They'd be 7-9 to face Tampa Bay. And again, a lot of teams are going in with records that sync up with the next opponent, just like how the Penguins come in 10-7. To face the Rangers 107. So I'm gonna entrust in the 23-point riddles tonight. I know they're not all gonna come through, but I suspect the majority will come through, just like the other day when 4 out of 5 of the 21 riddles hit on Sunday. Because again, that day had a 21 numerology connection plus Sunday equals 21 Today we have a 23 date numerology connection, and Tuesday equals 23. If Rangers do lose in regulation, they'd be 7-7-2, and New York Rangers equals 77 as well. The Coyotes and Blues game, if Arizona loses in overtime, they will have 23 points. Blues also equals 23. So that's very possible. If Arizona just outright lost and stayed on 22, the next team they play is the Wild. Wild equals 24. That's a very winnable game for Arizona. So they could pick up those 24th points against the Wild. If the Coyotes lost tonight in overtime, they might lose in overtime to the Wild too to end up on 24. We'll have to cross that bridge when we get there. St. Louis is on 27 points right now. I forget who they play next, but they have a tough game away next. Very losable their next game. And then after that, they play the Anaheim Ducks. Anaheim Ducks is 109, the 29th prime. So if they won tonight, they'd be on 29 points. I suspect they'll lose their next game. And then maybe they'd face the Ducks on those 29 points. The Coyotes, away, they have 14 points right now. They could stay on 14 points against the Blues. Blues is 14 in the most pure cipher. If they lost in overtime, they'd get to 15 points. St. Louis is 47, the 15th prime, so they'd have 15 away points, and they'd have 23 total points on this 23 day. The narrative for the Coyotes to win is to become 7-4, because St. Louis also equals 74. They'd have 7 wins and 4 losses away, but again, the points riddles usually take the cake. If the Coyotes split their next 2 away games, they'd be 7-5 away. Coyotes is 75. If they won their next 2 away games, they'd be 8-4. Arizona's 84, so that's a little tricky. And next away game is at Minnesota. The Blues, if they win tonight, they'd get their 14th points at home of the season. Again, Blues is 14. The next opponent they have at home is the Ducks. Ducks is 13. They'd have to lose in overtime to be on 13 points by the conclusion of the Ducks game at home. That doesn't seem very likely. Blues are one of the better teams in the league, so you suspect that they would do better than pick up 1 point in their next 2 home games. And maybe just a little bit more abstract thought. If the Blues did lose tonight, they'd have 12 wins and 7 losses, kind of like 1-2-7, which is the 31st prime. Blues is also 31. But again, because the 23-point narrative would go against Arizona in this game, I'm going to lean towards St. Louis because I'm thinking the 23 riddles again are really going to come through. The Avalanche and the Winnipeg Jets. Hold on, we got a caller here first. Caller?
Hey, Zach. How's it going?
It's going well. How are you?
Good. Well, first I want to thank Victor for the shout-out. I'm glad he went with it. I actually didn't, but I did do an NFL prop bet last night, but the game went on overtime.
Oh, nice.
Turned $6.75.
Awesome.
Yeah. Since you were talking about the Blues, I don't know if this would help, but W.C. Handy, who the St. Louis Blues are named after his song. His birthday is on the 16th, the day that they faced the Ducks. And from what I looked at, from looking at their championship, I feel like he was one of the biggest parts of why they won. But
so his birthday's the day of the Ducks game.
Yes, the Ducks game.
So they can pick up their 31st points that day, and Blues equals... Wait a minute, am I getting this? I think Blues equals 31. Is that what I just said?
I don't think
Yeah, Blues is 31, so they could get the 31st points on his birthday.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's all I had for
What's
you.
the name again, though?
W.C. Handy. Handy.
W.C.
He has a song that the song is called St. Louis Blues, and that's who they're actually named after.
Huh, W.C. Handy. Well, I noticed his name equals 33 in the most pure cipher. If they won their next 3 games, they'd actually pick up their 33rd points on his birthday.
Right, yeah, that is true.
Huh. Maybe they will win those games then. W.C. Handy, okay.
Yeah, it stands for William Christopher Handy.
Great observation. All right.
He goes by W.C. Okay.
All right, appreciate that. All right, thank you.
Okay, bye.
All right, that's a good observation. Well, maybe they will win their next 3 games because that's interesting. They could pick up their 33rd points if they won their next 3 games on his birthday. Caleb makes great observations, good research. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna with the thinking I already had going. I think that even encourages me more with the Blues. So the Avalanche and the Jets. If Winnipeg wins, they would pick up their 23rd points today. If Colorado lost in overtime, they'd be on 23 points. Colorado equals 83, the 23rd prime. So one extra reason to believe in Winnipeg getting those 23rd points today. And let's see. The Avalanche are on 9 away points right now. Again, we got 23 date numerology plus Tuesday, the 9th prime. So good day to stay on 9 away points. Unless they end up getting plus 1 with the overtime to get to 23 overall points. And the one thing that I see that could go for the Avalanche is getting to 5-4 away with the win because Jets is 54. But again, I'm going to take the points riddle all day over that. And let's see. If they did lose in overtime, it would put them at 10 points, and then they'd have a chance to pick up 12 in their next away game, which is Edmonton. Edmonton equals 37, the 12th prime, so they'd need 1 point to have a chance again at 12 for Edmonton. And let's see. The Jets, if they win today, they'd get their 13th points at home, and then they play Columbus at home next. Columbus is 47, the 15th prime. So they win their next 2 home games, they'd have 15 points at home against a fitting team. And I got to take the Jets there. They have one of the better 23-point riddles of the day because they face a team with a 23 connection as well. Caller?
Yeah. About this Avalanche game
Uh-huh.
versus Winnipeg,
Uh-huh.
might be a little riddle buster because it looked easy, right? Okay, 23 points, Avalanche lose. And OT, that's 23 points. And a Winnipeg win, that's 23 points. But, well, I happen to do a little digging. The Avalanche coach is on 113 wins, and Winnipeg is 4-0-1 for the month. So if he beat Winnipeg, it'd be 4-1-1, 114 backwards.
I hear what you're saying.
114 wins.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah, personally, I don't look at the coaches because sometimes there's really great alignments and they don't come through. That's why I try to just focus on the points because that's where I've always done best.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, because I was going to take Winnipeg on the money line and then take the points too with the Avalanche, get the double win. But I just thought that was interesting. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Have a go.
All right, see you. I think quite a few people took Colorado today because this game opened up with a line of -140 for Winnipeg, and the current is -110. So, to me, that's also encouraging for Winnipeg. The money's the other way. The Predators and Canucks game. Now, this game, the 23rd points can go either way. So, that's the trick here, but I think we got a tiebreaker. If the Predators win, they become 4-4 away. And Predators equals 44, and Vancouver Canucks equals 193, the 44th prime. The Predators would also pick up their 9th away points to go with all the 23. 23, the 9th prime. I guess I didn't write that here. I should have. Thought I did. Oh, I wrote it down here. Never mind. I did write it down. So that looks good. And then also on the other side, Vancouver, if they lose, they're 4-4 at home. So the 44 can play into both records. Both teams have a 44 connection, and both teams would have a respective 4-4 home and away record so long as the Predators won. And let me see. My one concern is Vancouver. If they did win this game, they'd have a chance to get their 14th points in their next home game against the Stars, and Stars is 14. So, I mean, it is there, but you guys who watch every day, you know how often I say, if they do win this game, it'll line up perfectly for the next game, and I feel like it almost seems like more often than not, it ends up not lining up for the next game, and I'm disappointed because I'm like, damn, that would have been great for the next game, but So, I mean, it is there, but I can't put too much stock in it because for the exact reason I just said. So, looking at the immediate game, it looks better for the Predators here. Both teams becoming 4-4 in their respective home and away records. But, again, the risk you do run is that the 23 points could land on either side. It's just it looks a little bit better because of the home and away record. So, couldn't call it a one-way street, but I am favoring the away team. And it's interesting that Nashville's the favorite in that game. All right, the Red Wings and the Ducks. Detroit's on 13 points for the season. Ducks equals 13, and they play at LA next. LA's 13, so if they lose tonight, they go into LA with 13 points. That only seems right. And Anaheim's a little bit tricky. They're on 19 points right now. If they scored 1 point, they'd have 20. San Jose's 20. If they scored 2 points, they'd have 21. They'd be one off the 22 value for Sharks. The Red Wings are 2-7-0 away. They're on 4 points. Ducks again equals 13, the sixth prime if they got their 6 points. But if the If the Red Wings won, they would be 3-7. Detroit's 37, so is Los Angeles, who they play next. But if the Red Wings lose in overtime today and become 2-7-1, they could become 3-7-1 in LA. That would put them at 14 points. LA is also 14. But if they became 2-7-1, that's like 271, the 58th prime number, and Ducks equals 58. So, I know I wrote that here. Oh, I wrote it right here. So, if Red Wings lose 2-7-1, 271, the 58th prime. If they lost in regulation, they'd be 2-8. LA Kings equals 28, who they play next. So, there's a few different ways this could go, but ultimately, I'm thinking Detroit will go into LA on either 13 points or 14 points, which would mean that they would lose. Also, if the Ducks win tonight, they'd have 10 wins and 9 losses, and Anaheim Ducks equals 109. So that would also make sense for the Ducks to win, to get to 10-9. And what else was there? The Ducks, they are 6-3-1 at home. Their next home game is against San Jose. I didn't write their points like I did for other teams. I don't know why I didn't do that. Okay. But their next home game is against San Jose. If they won their next 2 home games, meaning they beat Detroit today and then beat San Jose next, they would be 8-3-1. San Jose's 83, so. Caller?
What's going on, Zach? How you doing?
Doing all right. How are you?
Pretty good. I see with that same game, that Red Wings, if they lose, they can do the 6-13 like the prime.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, if they lost in regulation, they'd be 6-13-1. So.
Yeah, and the same thing with St. Louis too. If you look, St. Louis, if they win, they can do the prime number relationship. And St. Louis going for 8 straight today. 8 straight wins.
Oh, I didn't catch that with St. Louis. That's a good one. Yeah, that's nice.
Yep.
Okay.
All right,
yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, Rob.
All
right, see you, man. Okay. So yeah, I'm really gonna ride the 23-point narratives today because it reminds me just of how Sunday was, and that's what happened on Sunday. And hold on, we still got more games. There's a lot of hockey games today. The Wild and Kings game. So Minnesota's on 13 points. They could stay on 13 in LA. LA, if they win, they'd pick up their 13th points in LA. They'd also get their 6th win of the season. 13, the 6th prime. LA plays Detroit next. Detroit's 37, the 12th prime, so that's the one thing to think about. If they lost in overtime, they'd be on 12 points to face Detroit. Doesn't have to be that way, though. Minnesota is 3-9-0 away, so they're not a very good road team. This is their 13th road game. Let me note that here. just like Rod said, 13's the 6th prime. If they didn't score any points in this game, Minnesota, they'd stay on 6 points in their 13th road game in LA. LA does have the 4 connection, though. That's the one devil's advocate narrative that they could get the 4th away win. They play at the Sabres next. I mean, anything can happen. Sabres equals 19, the 8th prime. It's hard to imagine the Wild winning at the Sabres, because Sabres have been a pretty good team. But it's possible. That would be a good team to get the 8th points against, so we'll have to take a look at that. If the Wild lose this game, and we'll have to consider that, that'd probably be a line like negative 250 or something, so it would be an awesome payout if it happened. And it does happen in hockey, but Wild, they've been not the greatest team. So, again, the biggest clue here is the 13 points. Minnesota staying on it, LA picking it up. The Kings are 3-4 at home. If they won, they'd become 4-4 at home, and they host Detroit next. Detroit's 44, so they'd be 4-4 to host Detroit. Red Wings equals 45, so that's something to consider. I imagine the Kings will split the next 2 games to get to 4-5 after the Red Wings game. If they lost today, they'd probably beat the Red Wings. But again, it makes a little bit more sense if they win today to become 4-4 before they host Detroit. And let's see. That's the other thing. Los Angeles 37, the 12th prime. If the Wild lost today, they would get that 12th loss of the season in Los Angeles. 10 regulation losses and 1 in overtime right now. So, if you want to play this game, I am leaning the Kings here because of the 13 riddles. Both teams being on 13 points by the conclusion of the game. Or possibly the Wild getting its 14th point because LA has the 14 connection as well. But even if they did get to the 14 points, that would still mean the Kings won. So, let me think about something else. 16, 17. Yeah, it's not going to matter. Okay, and then the Oilers and the Sharks. Edmonton is the underdog. I guess because they're on the road. They've been playing a whole lot better than the Sharks. Edmonton comes in with 26 points. SAP Center equals 101, the 26th prime. So they could stay on 26 points in the SAP Center. If San Jose got the W today, they'd pick up their 17th points on the 17-date numerology. The Oilers come in with 13 away points. Sharks equals 41, the 13th prime. They could hold them there. San Jose also equals 43, the 14th prime. So if the Oilers lost in overtime, they'd have 14 points. And what's interesting is the Oilers, after this game, I think they have 4 home games in a row. But then their next away game is San Jose again. So their next 2 away games are at San Jose. The one thing I see in that is if the Oilers won today and they won the next away game against the Sharks, they'd be 8-4 away, and San Jose Sharks is 84. So that is worth some consideration. Kings equals 75. After the 2 games against the Sharks, their away game after that's against the Kings. So if they split the next 2 games, they would be 7-5 going into the Kings. That's also possible. And let's see. Because of the 17-date numerology, the Oilers do have a shot at their 7th away win as well. That's one other thought. The Sharks are 5-4-0 at home. They're on 10 points at home. Edmonton does equal 37, the 12th prime, so it would be a good team to get the 12th points against. But in light of the fact that there's a narrative that they could split the next 2 games, they could also get the 12th home points in their next game against the Oilers. Hold on. I think the Sharks have another home game, though, before the Oilers. Let me double-check that. Did I write that down? Oh, yeah, I did. I wrote it right here. Okay, so I mean, the points riddle, it does look better for the Sharks. They got the date numerology. The home record too, and again, I haven't kept track of this, but I have a feeling this is what's going on. I should have been doing this before, but better late than never, I guess. So I'm really going to observe this today, and I encourage you to do the same thing, to pay attention to how these points riddles happen with the home and away records. And yeah, so Let's review everything real quick for hockey and basketball, and then let's look at 2 college basketball games because I think they start in 45 minutes. So Panthers and Bruins. Again, I'm going to ride the 23-point riddles today because, again, Tuesday equals 23. Today has 23 date numerology. Same scenario as Sunday where 4 out of 5 21-point riddles came through because it was a 21 thing that day. Today is 23 2 days later. So the Panthers can get their 23rd points. Bruins equals 83, the 23rd prime. I wouldn't call this game a one-way street, though, because there are some concerns there, like the Panthers falling to 8-5. Boston's 85. But again, points have always been the best indicator for picking hockey games, at least for as long as I've been doing this. And Montreal, they're another team going for the 23rd points today. Penguins are a team going for the 23rd points today. Arizona would end up on 23 points with an overtime loss. So that means I'm leaning St. Louis. Winnipeg can get their 23rd points today, and they're facing Colorado. Colorado's 83, the 23rd prime. So, again, some of these games have even more encouraging stats to believe in the 23 than others. Winnipeg is one of those games. Predators and Canucks, either team can get the 23rd points with a win. But the thing is, the home and away records make more sense with a Predators win, who are slight favorites on the road, which is curious, because both teams are pretty even. And again, if the Predators win, it does set them up to pick up their 25th points against the Blackhawks in the next game. Chicago Blackhawks is 97, the 25th prime. And then after that, they face Winnipeg, which also equals 97, the 25th prime. So anyway, Predators look a little bit better, but the 23 can go either way, so beware on that. I almost forgot something too. Yeah, I'd be careful with this one. I'm glad I thought about this before the live stream was over, though. I know Nashville Predators equals 83, the 23rd prime. So that would be, I don't know. I don't know about this one. If you like to get on the both sides of some games by mixing up with your parlay card, I would definitely do that with this one because the 23 can go either way, and Nashville Predators is 83, the 23rd prime. That just clicked into my brain. Red Wings and Ducks, again, if Detroit loses, they stay on 13 points. Ducks is 13, and they go to LA next, the land of 13. LA also has the 14 connection, so I'm thinking Detroit either loses in regulation or overtime. If they do lose in overtime, their record would be a perfect tribute to the Ducks because they'd be 2-7-1, like 271, the 58th prime, and Ducks is 58. Wild and Kings. Again, I got to trust them the 13. If Minnesota loses, they stay on 13 points. If they lose in overtime, 14. But LA can also pick up the 13th points in LA. So I'm leaning that way. And Oilers and Sharks. Again, Oilers can stay on the 26 points in the building that equals 101, the 26 prime, and San Jose can get those 17th points at home. I find it real interesting that San Jose is the favorite. I think that's going to make a lot of people bet on the Oilers since they're the better team. But because the points riddle's a little bit better for the Sharks in this game, I got to lean that way. So again, I'm taking the 23s, and make sure those are all underlined too. So let's see. Okay. All right, so that's it for hockey. One more time, just on the quick basketball review. I'm favoring the Pacers to drop the Thunder to 4-7. Indiana's 47. Indianapolis, IN 74. Pacers get to 7-4. Thunder fall to 4-7. The concern in that game, there is one concern. It's that if the Thunder win, they're 1-3 away because they play at LA next. LA, the land of 13. But LA also equals 4 again, so if they lose, they're 0-4 going into LA, which is also possible. Cavs and 76ers, it doesn't seem like it should be a dangerous game, but I see a potential upset there. I also see plenty of reason to believe in the 76ers winning, so I'm just going to let it be. 76ers aren't a good enough payout to take the risk. If you're doing one of those dollar parlays, I might think about the Cavs. Pistons and Heat, same type of thing here. I see plenty of reason that the Heat could win, but I also see some narratives going against them. They could fall to 3-1 at home. Pistons is 31. Pistons could become 5-6 in the East. Miami Heat's 56. So I don't trust the Pistons enough on the road, even though the numbers are there. So I'm going to let that one go. Knicks and Bulls. Again, the Bulls win. They're 2-3 at home, and they host the Nets next. Nets is 23. Let me take this call real quick. Caller?
Hey, Zach, that Cherry guy, he used to coach for Boston Bruins. Maybe they lose tonight?
Well, the Bruins have the points riddle going against them. If Florida wins today, they're going to get their 23rd points, and that seems to be the theme today. Plus, Bruins equals 83, the 23rd prime. So, yeah, Bruins might very well lose.
Okay.
All right. Appreciate it, man. Thanks.
Bye.
And I should have said to him, but again, the one concern in that game is if Florida loses, they're 8-5-5, and Boston does equal 85, so that 85 plays big in Boston, but the points riddle's with Florida tonight. Okay, Bulls, again, they win. They're 2-3 at home. They host the Nets next. Nets is 23. I think the Bulls win today, lose the next game against the Milwaukee Bucks to fall to 4-8. Milwaukee Bucks is 48 in the most pure cipher. Plus, if Chicago wins today, they're 3-5 in the conference. Chicago's 35. We just saw we know how often Chicago in 35 plays. New York can also fall to 1-7 in the conference on the 17-date numerology. And we did see this as Fizdale's 93rd game. Could get his 74th loss, and he might get fired because he's on the hot seat, and fired equals 93. Nets and Jazz. I'm not going to mess with this game. Salt Lake City, UT's 199, the 46th prime. Nets could fall to 4-6. Utah's 14. Utah in 14 plays hard, so I mean that's really incriminating for the Nets. But if they win 2 games in a row, it sets up a real nice away record based on the teams they face. So I am seeing the possibility of the Nets pulling some upsets here. And if the Jazz lose tonight, they host Minnesota next. They could lose 2 in a row, fall to 5-2 at home against Minnesota. If the Jazz lose tonight, they're 7-4. Brooklyn, New York, 74. So I just see numbers that are strong going both ways, so I'm not messing with it. The Hawks and Nuggets, there is a potential upset here, like we talked about, but I suspect the Hawks lose this game and the next game to the Suns to go into LA 1-4 away since LA's 14. And I think the Nuggets win tonight and then lose to the Nets next. Especially if the Nets win tonight, I'm definitely penciling them in to upset the Nuggets. Again, if the Nets and Nuggets win tonight, I think that upset's on for the Nets to beat the Nuggets in the next game. But ultimately, if the Nuggets split the next 2, they're 8-3. Colorado's 83, and then the team they play next has a double 83 connection. Memphis is 83, and Memphis Grizzlies is 83. 83 is the 23rd prime. Nets is 23. That's who they'd fall to 8-3 against. Remember, if Denver wins tonight, they're 4-0 versus the East. They host Brooklyn next. Brooklyn's 40 and 41, so they could become 4-0 and then fall to 4-1. If they lost today, though, they'd be 3-1, and Denver's 31. So I don't even know if you really want to mess with the Nuggets game just because it's not a great payout tonight, and there is a little risk there. Again, if they lost, they'd be 3-2 at home. Denver's 32. Atlanta Hawks is 32. I mean, there are some things that could definitely go against them, but I suspect the Hawks going to LA 1-4 away. So, caller.
Hey Zach, just wanted to get this to you before you switch sports. I'm on board with you with the Brooklyn game. One of the indicators is so the Jazz, it's their 11th game. They're playing against Brooklyn, New York, the 11th ratified state, and they can stay on 5 home wins. That's true too. 11, the 5th prime. So, yeah. Yeah. So probably the best way to play would be Brooklyn with the points, but a little bit sprinkled on the money line don't hurt either, because today would be a good day for it. And also, it's Brooklyn's 10th game, and then that 5 and 5, the 55 connection to the 10 as well. Yeah, 55, the 10th triangular number. That is a good point. So, yeah. Okay, and one more thing, because I don't want to call back. So, about the Phoenix game, Phoenix, all-time regular season versus the Lakers at home, they're 75 and 49. 49 days left in the year. They can stay on that 49. So, I'm with you on that one, too. Is that including the postseason, too? No, it's regular season. Regular season, 75 and 49. Okay, that's a good observation. All right. Yeah. All right. Thanks, man.
Okay, so Lakers and Suns. Again, Suns equals 73. If the Suns win this game, both teams are 7-3. If the Suns win, they become 5-2 at home. Phoenix Suns is 52. They host the Hawks next. Hawks is 62, so they win tonight. They're golden to beat the Hawks. And then if the Lakers lose, they're 4-2 in the conference. Lakers is 42, Arizona's 42, LeBron James is 42. If the Suns win, they're 5-2 in the conference. Again, Phoenix Suns is 52. I can't call this a one-way street, though, because we know how big LA in 41 is. If LA did win, they'd be 4-1 away. Kings 41, West is 41. So, not a one-way street, but I'm still going to give the edge to the Suns here. And if I played the Suns, I would take those 2.5 points. Suns have been good this year. And they're going to get better when Ayton comes back. So, again, if the Lakers did win this game, they'd most definitely win their next game to become 9-2 to face the Sacramento Kings 92. But still, not a one-way street, but favoring the Suns. And to me, this is the safest game of the day, and it's also a good value. Portland equals 37 in the most pure cipher. Sacramento equals 37 in the most pure cipher. Los Angeles equals 37 in the most pure cipher. If the Kings lose, they're 3-7, and they face Los Angeles next. And again, they'd fall to 1-4 at home, like 14. Blazers equals 43, the 14th prime. The game's on NBA TV, which equals 14. So far this year, I've seen 2 14 riddles on NBA TV, and they both came through. Blazers would also become 4-3 away. And was there anything else? Oh, yeah, if the Blazers won, they'd be 4-4 in the conference, and Portland's 44. So, I was just trying to think of any devil's advocate narrative. All I can think of is Bill Walton is the father of Luke Walton, and he helped the Blazers win their only championship. Luke Walton equals 35 if Portland fell to 3-5 in the conference, but I'm not going to do that. The riddle looks good for the Blazers. So Blazers, I like. Suns, I favor. Nuggets, I do favor the Nuggets, but I don't even know if it's worth it. There is a little risk there, and they don't pay anything. So, I mean, you don't want to kill your parlay with that. It's not like it would multiply your parlay very much anyway. Nets and Jazz, I think this game's very dangerous. If I did play the Nets, I would definitely take those points. Again, because Utah in 14 just hit so much. So if the Nets lose, they're 1-4 away. I mean, it's right there. But again, the Nets win and the Nuggets win tonight. I think it's on for that Nets upset for the next one. Again, I'm taking the Bulls. I'm staying away from the Pistons and Heat. I'm staying away from the Cavs 76ers. I might think about the Cavs as a parlay multiplier if I'm doing a small ticket card. Trying to turn $1 into a bunch of dollars. And I am favoring the Pacers. Again, Indiana 47, Indianapolis IN 47, or 74. So, okay, so we reviewed basketball and hockey several times. And let's see, we got a half hour till game time. All right, don't call me right now because I just want to decode these college basketball games real quick before they start because there might be something good here. It doesn't take that long to do because there's only so many things to look at. I saw some games that were close. Okay, so Xavier in Missouri. So, Xavier basketball head-to-head. Missouri. They're 5-3 versus Missouri. Somewhere Rod's out there going, what, 6-3? I know Rod loves a 6-3. Okay. All right. Let's see. 5-3. What's Xavier? What are they? The Musketeers? Missouri's the Tigers. Is that right? Musketeers? Yeah. Xavier Musketeers. It's their 99th season. Missouri, it's their 114th season. All right. Xavier. Where was this game at again? This game's in Xavier. So Xavier is... Whoops. Xavier's 4-0 at home. 4-0 at home. All right, let's run some Gematria. Xavier Musketeers. Let me make sure I'm spelling that right. It's not a word I spell every day. think that's right, though. I'm going to take Duke tonight, too. I'm taking Duke and Gonzaga. All right, let's see. Xavier Musketeers. What happened here? Both teams were 2-0. Okay, Xavier Musketeers is 71, the 20th prime. Well, that makes sense. They start out 2-0. All right, Cintas Center. Both teams are 2-0. Cintas Center's 50. So Xavier could become 5-0 at home in the Cintas Center. So I like that. And what else was there? Cincinnati. What were they overall? 5-3. Well, I like that they can become 5-0 in their building because it equaled 50 in the most pure cipher. What was it a second ago? Cintas Center. I like that. And let's see. Xavier basketball coach. Travis Steele. What am I doing? Wrong thing. His birthday is November 12th. It's his birthday today. It's the Xavier coach's 38th birthday today. So his birthday, he can get his 22nd win, big basketball number. It's his 38th game on his 38th birthday. He's got to win that. He's got to win that. Travis Steele's 79, the 22nd prime. He can get his 22nd win. Basketball's 22. I like this. I like this game here. I like this game. All right, so I'm taking Xavier over Missouri. Hold on, I didn't even look at the Missouri coach. Let me just double check with the Missouri coach. Got too excited right there. What kind of name is that? Quanzo? Oh, that's funny. His next win is 38. It's going to be his 68th game. Basketball's 68 as well. Musketeers is 37, though. He can stay on those 37 wins versus the Musketeers. So that's a good sign, too. He can stay on the 37 wins. Let me make a little post for this real quick in case you want to review these notes. But this game starts in 28 minutes. I think Xavier looks pretty good. Okay. So, Xavier is 5-3 versus Missouri, 4-0 at home. Can improve to 5-0 in Cintas Center. Cintas Center equals 50. Xavier coach's name equals 79, 22nd prime. He can pick up 22nd win. on his 38th birthday and 38th career game. Missouri coach can stay on 37 wins. Was it Musketeers that equaled 37? I think it's Musketeers. Yeah, again, Musketeers is 37. Oh, shit. Xavier's 38. Damn. So he could. Okay, that made it a little bit. That made it a little bit more muddy. But you know what? Push comes to shove, I'm going to take the more pure cipher. And the Cintas Center was 50 in the more pure cipher too. Again, I like that cipher. They're all important, but I like that cipher the most. I wish that wasn't there. That's just the one concern. But like Rod would say, he does this every day. He likes when the 3, the 6, and the 9 come together, so Xavier can get to 6 and 3. For my guy that doesn't call in anymore, who likes networks, just gotta check real quick. CBSSN. Yeah, ultimately I like that they can get to 5-0 at home. I like that it's this Xavier coach's 79th birthday. It's his 38th game. He's turning 38 years old today. Xavier's also 38. So yeah, this is the one concern right here, but I still think this is the better riddle with Xavier. Okay, there was one other game I wanted to check. Auburn, South Alabama. Well, I guess we can look at it real quick, just in case there's an upset. I know there's another game down here that's better, though. Hold on. Oregon and Memphis. That's the other game I want to look at. All right, hold up. Auburn. South Alabama. Let me make a little post here. All right. Auburn was 6 and 4. 11th game. This would be the 9th game for this would be the 9th game too. So you do get your 9-6-3 here if Xavier wins. All right, 11th game. Auburn leads 6-4. And games in South Alabama. Wait, what did I just do? That means they could pick up their 7th win on this 17-date numerology, and usually the prime numbers are a good sign in college basketball. Oops. So they're 2-2 at home. They haven't played them at home for a minute. 1991. All right. 17-date numerology, 7th prime. Again, prime numbers are usually a really good indicator in college basketball. Auburn can improve to 7 and 4. I guess I'll do it like this. Just more clear this way. Okay, and let's see. South Alabama is 2-2 at home. You have the 23 date, but that could go either way, so that's not clear. Let's see. South Alabama, what are they? The Jaguars. Jaguars equals 23 as well. I know that. Ooh, man. That's one concerning thing, though. South Alabama Jaguars is 56 if they won. God, you got two S's in it, though. That's tough. Because South Alabama Jaguars is 56, but with those two S's, it's also 74. Ugh. Ooh, that's tough. The prime number relationship is still there in favor of Auburn. But you do have a narrative for South Alabama making it 5 and 6. Just because they are that in the most pure cipher. Let's see the name of the stadium. Mitchell Center 66. It's not going to help. Mobile, Alabama. Mobile, Alabama 147, like Mitchell Center, huh? Okay. Let's get the coaches. Own the moment. Let's see what this highlight says right here. Own the moment. Own the moment. 51, 57. I don't know what to make out of that. Tigers. Gotta see the name of the coach, I guess. Auburn and Jaguars are both 23. Auburn. Oh, man. Auburn Tigers is 56, too. It'd also be 65, but it doesn't have that 74 connection. This game's dangerous right here. South Alabama might own the moment. It's tough to go against the prime numbers, but both teams have a 56 connection in the most pure cipher. Yeah, that's tough to go against right there. That could be an upset. Here, let's see who these teams play next. Or hold on, I got to do the coach still. I didn't even get. Is his name Richie Riley? Richie Riley. Is he a new coach? No, he's not. He's 19 and 17 with South Alabama, 37th game. It's going to be his 100th game all time. It's interesting that's going to be his 100th game all time. When you write out 100, it equals 54. He's on 54 wins. Yeah, it's tough. Auburn Tigers. Make sure I'm not missing anything there. Auburn. Tigers. All right, let's get the Auburn coach. 100th game. He is 54 and 45. 100 equals 54 if he stayed on that. All right, Bruce Pearl. He's 102 and 72. Run this stuff again. What was all this? 102, 72. Mobile. Alabama. I don't see anything that syncs up too nice with South Alabama. 191, the 43rd prime. Yeah, I don't see anything that syncs up too well. Yeah, I if it wasn't for that prime number relationship, I would take South Alabama here because both teams have the 56 connection and the most pure cipher. I won't be surprised if they win, but man, prime numbers in college basketball are usually where it's at. So Auburn can get that 7th win on the 17 date. That's tough. All right, let's go on to that next one. Oregon and Memphis. Phil Knight Classic. That's the Nike CEO. Nike equals 21, but I see either team can become 2-1. So that's... That game must be in Oregon. Nike's headquartered in Oregon. Yeah, it's in Portland. Makes sense because the Blazers are on the road. Okay, let's see. Oregon, Memphis. Hold on, let me go back real quick. I want to check some about South Alabama and Auburn real quick before I go away from that game and give up on it. It's South Alabama's 49th season. Today leaves 49 days left in the air. And Auburn, 114th season. I'll just make a note about this. Alabama's 49th season. Today leaves 49 days in the year. 49 also has a square root of 7 to go with that 7 theme. Games on ESPN if that South Alabama coach stayed on 54 wins. Yeah, I still can't mess with this game. Okay. Oregon and Memphis. Let's see. When I'm done with this, I'm going to add this post to the NBA notes. I'm not going to make a new post. I'm just going to link it beneath in case you want to look at it yourself. Oregon. Whoops. Have they not played Memphis before? Huh. That's hard to believe. They never played Memphis? Interesting. Let me double check from Memphis' perspective. Oregon. They played Oregon State, but not Oregon. Wonder if that's back in the Gary Payton days. If you don't know, Gary Payton used to play at Oregon State. Izzy probably doesn't even know who Gary Payton is. All right, hold on. Let's see. Oregon, -4. Let's see. All right, I guess we're going to have to look at the coaches. The riddle would have to be with the coach here. Phil Knight Invitational. I guess I should check that too. Phil Knight Invitational. 127, the 31st prime. Tigers is 33. Let's see. Oh, wow. Anthony Hardaway is the coach of Memphis? I did not know that. His name's not going to come up as Penny. Yeah, I knew it. There we go. Oh, wow, he coached him last year? I did not even know that. I had no idea he was coaching Memphis. Huh, that's interesting. His 39th game. Does Knight equal 39? It does if you use the rule. Anthony Hardaway, when he did the commercials with Chris Rock, were those Nike commercials? That's what I want to know. Baby Penny commercials. What company was that for? They were Nike commercials. Okay. Lil Penny. That's right. That's what they called him. Lil Penny. Okay. There's got to be some sort of ritual with this. All right. Memphis coach is 24-14. And Memphis Tigers. What are they right now? 2-0. Oregon Ducks. What's his record? Oh, Oregon's 25. He could get his 25th win against Oregon. All right, so that stands out that he can get that 25th win over Oregon. That definitely jumping out. Oregon's more of the home team. That's just the one thing. They play 3 hours south of Portland and Eugene. Hold on. Moda Center. Let me just check that real quick. Moda's 15, but it's the Moda Center. All right. The 97th, which is the 25th prime. I was hoping Memphis had a... Tigers. All right. Memphis is 34. His next overall loss would be his 340th. Oregon coach is 237-96. I mean, he doesn't necessarily have to pick up his 97th loss in this game, but it does make sense for Penny to get his 25th win. Phil Knight. Invitational. 334. It's 647. Whoops, wrong number. He's on 647 wins, the 118th prime. You know what's interesting about that? I know the phrase "just do it" equals 118, the Nike phrase, since this is a Nike tournament. Huh. Okay. He is 647, 339 overall. Is that right? Numbers. 647, 118th prime. Just do it equals 118. Anything else I can think of here? Portland, Oregon. Let me look at who they play next. Oregon basketball schedule. Let's see. Texas, Arlington. That doesn't give us anything super clear. Who do they play after that? Oh, well, there's a clue. So no doubt Oregon's going to win this game, right? So check it out. If they lose tonight to Memphis and then they beat this team, then look at who they play, and they'd be 3-1. Houston 31. So I like that. And then Ducks is 41, so they'll probably win that game to get to 4. Or wait. Oh, Ducks is 13. That's what I was thinking. 41 the 13th prime. But yeah, they'd probably still win that game over Houston to get to 4-1. If Oregon loses this game, they will win next over nobody team to get to 3-1. Houston equals 31. They host Houston 3-1 after. So that makes a lot of sense right there. Let's see about Memphis. Alcorn State, Little Rock. Alcorn State Braves. Alcorn State. Well, that's not helping. Braves would be 31 as well with the S, so you can sort of make the argument. But again, what we saw was Penny could get that 25th win and Oregon's 25, so that's still the best clue I've seen. Am I spelling his name right? Is that how you spell his name? Yeah. His name equals 85 like basketball. What was the Phil Knight Invitational again? I was thinking there'd be more of a clue in the tournament name. I guess we can measure from Phil Knight's birthday. Phil Knight. Well, Knight's 30, but whoever wins is obviously going to be 3-0. He was going to die over a decade ago. It was big news up here in Oregon. Today's 261 days after his birthday. One off the mark. Phil Knight Invitational 260. Okay. Well, the best clue I saw there was Anthony Hardaway getting his 25th win over Oregon. So I'm going to lean that way for that one. And I didn't look at who Auburn and South Alabama play next. Let me just do that real quick since I couldn't figure that game out. Who is CSUN? Cal State Northridge Matadors. Cal State Northridge. All right, well, that's not too helpful. Who do they play after that? Colgate Raiders. Colgate Raiders. It's not going to help. All right, South Alabama. Well, can look one more game ahead. New Mexico, what are they, the Lobos? Yeah. New Mexico. No. All right, hold on. Chattanooga Mox. Did I spell it right? Yeah. Chattanooga Mox. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to mess with this South Alabama game because, again, that 56 is there. If they win and upset, it's 5-6. The gematria is there. It's just the prime number relationship goes against them. Okay, so for these college basketball games, the one's starting off right now, but again, I think Xavier's going to get to 5-0 at home. And we saw the Xavier coach. It was his 38th birthday. It's his 38th game. He could get that 22nd win. His name equals 79. The 22nd prime. Basketball is 22. So it'd be a symbolic win on his birthday. And again, it being somebody's birthday is no guarantee they win. I've seen plenty of people lose on their birthday. The Missouri coach, we saw he's on 37 wins. He could stay there. Musketeers 37, but Xavier's also 38. If he got that 38th win, it would be on the other coach's 38th birthday, but I got to ride again with Xavier getting to 5-0 at home in the Cintas Center 50. And Auburn, South Alabama. Again, South Alabama Jaguars and Auburn Tigers are both 56 in the most pure cipher. And if South Alabama won, they would be 5-6 versus Auburn. But that 7th win on the 17 date numerology. And then Oregon, Memphis. I got to lean on Penny picking up that 25th win as a coach because Oregon's 25. And again, since he used to be a Nike athlete, I see the tribute there with that as well. Oregon is the Nike school, but still, I think... what's the nickname Penny equal anyway? Penny's 74 like Oregon. All right, but yeah, I'm thinking Penny gets that 25th win. And we saw that the Oregon coach, if he didn't win, he'd stay on those 647 wins, which is the 118th prime. And again, just do what's 118, the Nike slogan. So I see a little symbolism in that too. I wonder, what's the history of this Phil Knight Invitational? Is this something that just started? I didn't even notice. Who was the favorite in that game? Oregon's the 4-point favorite. So if you take Memphis, you can take the points as well. But, so it sounds like this thing's not that old, the Phil Knight Invitational. Looks like it just started in 2017. I'm going to see if there was a history of any of these teams playing in it. Does it say what year this is? They didn't put the date up here. Huh. Okay, it doesn't have the date, so I can't figure out what's going on with that. Oh, that's the 2017, that's why. Okay. All right, well, we can leave it there. I think we got a good enough group of games today. We don't got to be greedy. But if you want to take a stab in these college games, you know what I'm thinking. So, let me check in with the chat, and then we can wrap it up. Kayla, UFC is normally as simple as this. You know, the last big UFC fight was Diaz versus, I already forget the other guy's name, but the other guy picked up his 35th win over Nate Diaz. So look at the fighter names and look at their nicknames as well, because a lot of them have nicknames. And usually the answer's in the gematria of the one of the two. Sometimes it's also something like the Nate Diaz fight before that. I think Nate Diaz won the fight, and I think the guy he fought fell to 22-9 on the 229th day of the year, and the last fight he'd fought in was UFC 229. So the riddle, UFC is actually one of the easier things to decode. The riddles will usually smack you in the face. And if you saw the parlay ticket where the guy won $3,000 off a $5 bet, the thing that really made that ticket huge was the Nationals coming back from down 3-2. That was the biggest multiplier in there. But then he had 7 UFC fights with it, one of which was the Nate Diaz fight. And he didn't decode any deeper than this. He just went through all the UFC fights that week and looked for ones with riddles just like that. So UFC is something that I could do, but honestly, you guys, I want you to use the knowledge. I mean, just go apply the knowledge and just see how surface level it is. Like when people were asking me to do the Nate Diaz fight, what did I say? I said, why don't you just use the skill and see what you see? I mean, I could have just given you the answer, but I mean, it would have taken 5 seconds of decoding. What do you think is going to happen when the guy's going for his 35th win 1 week before his 35th birthday fighting Nate Diaz? So, again, I'm trying to teach people to fish. Kayla's definitely an expert fisherwoman, but yeah, Kayla, just give it a whirl with UFC. You'll see. It is not that difficult. So, the Heisman, again, you know, the riddles are... Last year, the Heisman was hard to call, but 2 years ago, it was Money in the Bank. 2 years ago, Baker Mayfield won 239 days after his birthday. Sometimes the Heisman riddle's really easy. Derrick Henry, the other year when he won, it was the Heisman thing was 31 days from the championship game, and Alabama equals 31, so that was a clue. I forget what some of the other ones are. Last year was tough, though. Kyler Murray, there were 33s. Oftentimes, the Heisman winner has a 33 connection. More often than not, they do. Murray's 33 like Heisman. But, and oftentimes, it's also juniors that win the Heisman as well. Because junior's the one class year that has a 33. So, things to keep in mind. But, all right. Welcome, Kayla. We'll leave it there, you guys. We'll be back tomorrow. And again, I'm going to try to start it as close to 1 p.m. Pacific as possible. But again, I'm trying not to rush myself. I'm trying to take enough time to go over all the important things in the game so that we can keep doing well. And for several weeks now, we've had mostly good and very good days, so I'm trying to keep it that way. The one thing is, the last 2 weeks, because I've been covering everything, college football, practically every game, what it has cut into is the amount of time I spend on the NFL decode, and we've still done okay. We should have done better. We should have done a lot better this past week with the NFL, because I did have the right decode. I just didn't have... I didn't have the gall to call the games. No guts, no glory. That's what I've been saying to myself ever since this past Sunday. But I'll remember that this week. So, okay. All right. Yeah, we'll leave it there. I'm going to finish up the NFL Week 11 decode. I didn't quite finish. I wanted to have that out this morning, but I'm going to do that right now. And those notes should be out tonight, and of course, as the week goes on, I'll update it, but I'll get all that primary information finished and posted, so look for that. All right, you guys have a great rest of your day. Until next time.